It's interesting, a lot of people say that the comic reads like a movie.
It was such gritty, cool, hard action. Paired with really fun, almost bubbly characters.
She's got a gun. It's pointed at my dick. Clay, it's pointed at my dick.
The great thing about having a graphic novel is you've got this incredible foundation that you don't normally have in just having a script. You've got not only the words, but you've got images to help base your research on.
Decent, smart action film style storytelling hadn't really been done in comic. It is interesting that we did it with that in mind, and now it's gone back over to becoming a film. The Losers was our first big American work, first monthly work, our first ongoing series. It was quite a sharp learning curve from there on in.
Well, like Jock, I started reading 2000 AD as a kid, and it just completely hooked me on comics. I kind of taught myself how to write by studying comics, but also studying screenwriting. And that led into a sort of unexpected 4-year-long detour where I became editorial staff and ended up actually editing 2000 AD itself. And there was this guy who'd been sending stuff to the submissions pile called Jock, whose artwork I really liked. And I figured, well, this guy may be, you know, a little bit rusty around the edges, but he could maybe be knocked into shape. So
He's such a flatterer.
And that led into The Losers.
It was quite a sharp learning curve from there on in, wasn't it?
Yeah. Will Dennis at Vertigo deserves a lot of the credit for all of this happening. He took a chance on us. He gave us the wiggle room to actually do what we wanted and have fun with this, you know, allowing us to create these new characters and publishing them, taking a risk on two guys who basically had absolutely no track record in comics.
That sounds fun.
Good times.
To begin with, it started life as a little caper story, really, didn't it?
But once they asked me to make it an ongoing series, I needed an ongoing bad guy with an ongoing agenda. One of my starting points was looking at the history of the CIA. Books by Robert Bayer, the ex-CIA agent who wrote See No Evil, that got turned into Syriana. He was a big influence as well, like reading, you know, his sense of what was going on inside the CIA. In a way, Max is kind of a hodgepodge of different conspiracy theories because I used him as the glue that would string together all of the stuff that the Losers were fighting against. So people ask me if I believe in conspiracy theories. It's like, well, which one? I don't believe that, you know, aliens kidnap Elvis's brain. It's just a question of where you draw the line. You know, I try and be a realist about this stuff, but I don't, like I say, I don't let the truth get in the way of a good story.
I release the button for 10 seconds, and everything goes boom. So since you can't shoot me...
Ah! God damn it!
You want to try that again?
That hurt.
You can tell that The Losers is kind of my love letter to action movies, especially Shane Black action movies.
You know, we always intended it to be a smart action film.
As well as being exciting. Terminator, Aliens, Raiders, you know, Die Hard. But all my favourite films as a kid, you know, it was all Kelly's Heroes and Where Eagles Dare. And there's never any point in those movies where you think, ah, wait a minute, that's bull, you know, that would never happen. Part of the grounding it was I just didn't want to jolt people out of the story by having, you know, dumb stuff happen.
It was our first film. We were both pretty hungry to get it right.
I think we're both acutely aware that this might be our only ever shot. You know, if we made a mess of this,
that's right,
then that was it. The phone might never ring again.
Donut! Are you sure you've done this before?
Okay, right now, not the time. Not the time right now.
The authors are actually European. You know, their sensibility, I think, in treating American material was very interesting and unique, and that's what, you know, gives the books a different tone, and particularly the sort of the cynical quality that the characters have.
We're saving the country, Wade. We're doing something for the benefit of the United States of America.
I was born in Quebec.
So I think there's a lot of British writers who go over to America and work on American superhero comics, and they bring like an outsider's perspective to it. I think they're less reverent.
You know, people that tend to do the best comics tend to look outside of comics, and normally I think when you read a comic that you can sort of tell whether someone's, you know, influenced by comics or whether they're influenced by life.
My honeymoon 10 years ago, we took a helicopter ride over the volcanic island of Montserrat, which, you know, had been completely destroyed by this volcano, and whole villages disappeared underneath pyroclastic flow. And I just thought, what a great location for an action story. What if there's something buried in a basement, then everybody needs to get their hands on it.
Look, the thing about The Losers is it has this great tone. I mean, it has this great tone. It's fun. It doesn't take itself seriously.
Jensen, shut up.
You shut up, Roque. You're dead. I'm spinal injury. Spinal injury can talk. Dead can't say shit.
Stop talking or I'll break your neck really.
I was always very consciously aware of trying to inject a little bit of self-deprecating humor to show that maybe these guys aren't quite as cool as they think they are. It's okay for them to take themselves seriously, but if it looked like I was taking them too seriously, it would open itself to ridicule, because there's nothing more serious than serious people being serious about serious stuff.
When we talk about what could happen and what might happen, I suggested the death of a character being a little bit more creative than was originally written.
There's a sequence where Aisha has a point-blank duel with a bad guy using Stinger missile launchers.
It's basically a shootout, you know, but with these missiles.
And they're only standing about 60 feet apart from each other. I love my job.
We loved the characters. They were really energetic and really bright and really funny, yet it was still about something. These were incredibly patriotic guys.
In a comic book, you know, you need to come up with characters that have got a very strong visual identity. So a big part of actually coming up with the team was figuring out what one visual hook does each character have. And I think Jock did a fantastic job of just a simple visual defining feature.
No matter what it is, it can be the simplest thing, you know, from a big nose to a red cape with a big S on it. Those little things like Cougar's cowboy hat with Jensen's Lennon glasses. I thought this little kind of curly cord coming out of his ear. And even I don't know what it is. I mean, it's obviously an earpiece, but, you know, just little visual shorthand that kind of, you know, establishes kind of who that character is. And Play's got his suit, which Jeff Morgan was ready to hit us for, I think.
Unrelenting heat, add a black suit to the mix and you're sweating profusely. It's been physically a difficult film for me.
The next comic we do, like, the guy's in a vest the whole time.
Are small arms gonna be a problem?
Andy definitely wrote specific guns, and he'd always make a point of putting the PZ-36-B, you know, and you think, it's just a pistol, you know?
I love the one that looks like a cereal packet with like a toilet roll stuck on the end of it, yeah.
It's the sniper rifle.
Honestly, I could write that. I could draw that.
Yeah, reading it today, I did think, oh, do you know what? On hindsight,
mate, it's all fine.
Oh! I thought you said small arms weren't a problem.
Does that look like small arms to you?
We always intended the losers to be just 2 to 3 years long. At the time, I wanted it very much to have like an end of the line, so it wouldn't get milked beyond its natural life. And we always had the end of the losers very clearly mapped out. We knew exactly where it was all going. So we did end it with a bang. Of all the characters in the comic, I think Max is the one that will have changed most because he was a very political, ultra neoconservative. They've given him a very specific motivation in the movie, which is not quite exactly what it was in the comic.
Looks like somebody's money's here.
They needed to bring him into the story earlier. He doesn't really make an appearance until halfway through the comic, but in a revenge movie, you need to come face to face with the bad guy. You need a plot to thwart.
And who am I looking at here, Wade?
Clay and his unit?
Clay and his unit? That sounds like a porno, Wade.
I'd be reading, you know, new scenes they'd added that weren't in the comic, and it would be these characters that I made up with lines I didn't write, but at the same time, it's them.
Can you stand? I've been shot in both of my legs. What kind of dumbass question is that?
We started having something we would say loser style, and you could walk into a location and we would know immediately if it was loser style or not loser style.
I'm trying to be truthful as much as I can to the genius of the graphic novel.
Like in the angle of the dangle?
No, he got the voices exactly right, and they just got it.
Outstanding.
You know, and thousands more people will discover the comic because of the movie.
Same kind of color palette, smashing action. Kind of jumps out at you in that graphic novel.
You know, so like, you know, there's humor and horror and, you know, and the action stuff. They're all very closely related, I think.
Do it, let Godzilla do his thing.
Come on, this is wrong on so many levels.
You know, life has humor. If it was just serious, I don't think you'd buy it in the same way as well, you know.
I am a lethal killing machine. That's another great part of having a comic book blueprint. You can just steal all the jokes.
Thank you, Cougar.